Hello, Wankers.
What's up, Vankahs? We're back.
Yeah, well, this is coming at the start of the episode. We recorded the episode yesterday, the Silverstone episode, this big, excellent, crazy episode, and then the news of news drops this morning. Christian Horner, one of the top TPs in the game, has been sacked from Red Bull. 20 years in the sport, so we had to come on and do an emergency opening to this episode. And Guenther, get your first thoughts. Guenther, you know Christian from way back in the day. You were at Red Bull right at the beginning.
Yeah, I worked with him in the beginning. I worked with him over a year in the beginning. We started almost together. He started 1 month before me. So, I was pretty surprised as well, when it happened. I mean, you know that there was something going on at Red Bull. I think we all were aware of it. We cannot say, we didn't know that something was going on, because it's more than a year now that since we had whatever it was called, that scandal in the beginning of last year. There was some, it wasn't happy days anymore at Red Bull, I would say. And but I didn't expect it. If something like this happens, normally Red Bull is pretty good in managing it a little bit with a gliding path or something. But this came completely out of the blue anyway to me. Obviously, maybe at Red Bull not. But I think because nothing was out there that it will happen, so I must have, things change and things move on.
Guenther, what do you make of the timing of this? Because it feels like the time to have done it would have been in the Saudi Arabia. That was when it seemed, and they decided they were going to stick it out. They win the championship. Okay, he seems safe. They're having an off year. They let a bunch of people go, right? A bunch of people storm out. Jonathan Wheatley, Adrian Newey. I think Marshall's gone, right? They keep Christian. They lose a bunch of talent. 2026 is right around the corner now, and then they fire him now. It seems. Can you unpick that for me? Because I'm really confused.
Yeah, no, I can't unpick it, because I said it's very off, because you've got only a few races before the summer break, and normally you do it in the summer break. You've got it's people shut down. This is done very, a few days after a race doing this one. So it is off, as you say, the timing of it. And I guess they had some disagreement about something, whatever it is, and we will find out. We just have to wait a little bit. It's in the moment it's not out yet, but it's very off how it happened. So
I mean, I think it's Matt, you just mentioned all the people that have left: Newey, Wheatley, the various designers who have left Red Bull. There's one person who still hadn't left, and his name is Max Emilian Verstappen. Given the fact that we were talking a bunch about Toto's pursuit of him, and later in this episode, Guenther, you're saying that was all BS. Do you think that this situation has to do with, we know that Jos and Christian did not get along, that there was maybe like a Christian camp and a Jos camp within Red Bull? Do you think that this is a last-ditch effort from Red Bull to keep Max Verstappen under their building?
Could be that Max put that in as one of the things he wanted, that it's a weird thing for a driver to say somebody has to go, that I stay. It is never said as clear as this, because then you really fire at somebody. And as the world best F1 driver, you shouldn't have to be doing that, And that for us, I think maybe they jumped to the conclusion and said, if we want to keep Max, something needs to change, and we let Christian go. Because obviously, as you said, as you just explained, Jos and Christian, obviously there was some, they didn't see eye to eye on quite a few things. I mean, it was publicly known and publicly played out as well, to be honest. So that's never good for neither for the team nor for the driver. Max always kept out of that very smartly. So maybe the management at Red Bull said, if we want to make Max happy, to keep him, we have to do something. And obviously, do you want the best driver in the world? Yes. It comes to a price.
Supposing this is true, I know we're speculating. Supposing that there was this war between the Verstappen and Horner camps, and it was sort of a me or them situation, why do you think they waited until all these other people left? Newey, Wheatley, who's now at Sauber. I'm sure they would have loved to keep him. Now he's getting podiums with Hulkenberg at the Sauber, turning them around. I mean, why do you think they waited this long if this was going to be a him or me situation? I mean, it seems like now they're in their Horner business. 2026 is right around the corner. You said that you shouldn't ever fire a team principal right before a regulation change. Like, I remember a few weeks ago you were talking about they should keep Fred until at least 2026 now because you're switching horses midstream. I mean, this seems... I don't. I just don't. I'm trying to just wrap my head around why they would do it now as opposed to a year ago.
I mean, why they do it now, I don't know. But I think why they didn't do it last year, it was more like we tried to fix this. And obviously, Christian was a big part of the team, and he had a lot of success. So you need to believe in him as well because he did a good job. I don't know how many championships they won with him. 6, I think, at least. Huh? Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Eight
drivers.
Yeah.
Oh, 7 drivers, right?
8 drivers. 4 for Vettel, 4 for Max.
8, yeah. 4 for Vettel, 4 for Max. Yep.
So obviously, Christian has credibility, because he won a lot, and obviously it's not like if they would have seen what is coming, they would have done it before, but they didn't see that, and obviously now, and again, one thing we don't know, how good they think. Are they prepared for next year when the regulation change? If they feel we are not good prepared, so let's do something now and try to turn it around. But there's a lot of stuff we don't know. It's a lot of speculation. But why it wasn't done beginning of last year, my belief in there is like, okay, we believe in Christian because he won so much. I mean, it's not like that this guy from one day to the other gets to be a bad manager or whatever you want to say. But there must be something which has happened in the last weeks, I would say, which triggered it now. But it all takes time.
Right, but one bad season shouldn't. If he's a great team principal, one bad season shouldn't change all that he's done, right? I mean, if we're judging, if one bad season is enough to fire somebody, I mean, Toto Wolff should be fucking out of here, right? I mean,
a few years ago,
years ago. So it just doesn't seem like the guy has won so much. So he's got one bad season. The PR stuff aside, it doesn't seem like it makes sense to say, well, he's had one bad season, let's get rid of him. It still doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, but I mean, since last year, or since, I would say since Mr. Mateschitz is not around anymore in this world,
right.
The team has became unglued, I would say. There are fractions in the team, and it is not together anymore. There is not, and somebody had to pay the price, and I guess he lost the battle. If there are fractions,
right.
Normally one loses the battle, and it was Christian. But why it happened, we will find out why it happened, because sooner or later somebody will spill the beans.
Yeah, but now it's time to speculate, Guenther. We have to speculate.
Yeah, but there could be so many speculation, and we could be completely wrong as well.
That's okay.
Well, that's strong
okay.
and wrong
that's
is always strong and wrong isn't bad. Okay, but let's discuss maybe. Okay, he's out. That's done. We know that for sure.
That's the only thing we know. Exactly, yeah.
We can maybe speculate a little bit as to how long you think he'll be out of the sport. Do you think that he's going to be done? Do you think he's going to join our podcast? Do you think he's going to be at Ferrari or Alpine? What do you think the future holds for Christian Horner?
I think in the moment he just needs to deal with what is happening there and then, because I to be honest, I think he was surprised himself. As we were surprised, he was surprised, because this was very dramatic sudden. How it happened. Yeah, sudden. Yeah. So I think he will see what is happening. I don't know. Maybe for a while he doesn't want to come back. And it's like, is he needed somewhere? As you say, but Alpine just announced Steve Nielsen starting there, so that would be not right if you get now somebody else in. But maybe he normally after 20 years in a team, I mean, Christian Horner is all right for a few years if he does nothing. He's still pretty young, to be honest. He's only early 50s. So I guess he will coming back. But I mean, it's too early to speculate where and when.
Okay, then there's another question here. They got Laurent in there as maybe a little bit of an interim. Do you think that is the long-term play for Red Bull? Or Guenther, are you going to be getting a call? Are you going to be leaving this podcast because you're going to be running Red Bull?
I love you too much.
If there was only because we have an Austrian team and we have an Italian team, and if there was only a guy who kind of lived in the middle, who spoke to both the Austrian side and the Italian side, who spoke both languages, there was only
was
a
up
team
high in the mountains and could see both,
from where he lived, in the middle.
Could see Austria and see Italy.
And had immense and already, and was there on the ground floor when Red Bull was built. I mean, if only such a person existed.
I have been there, Matt. I have been there, and you don't want to go back. So no, I don't think so. Yeah, it's like no. I think Laurent will stay there. I mean, they know Laurent pretty well from the Toro Rosso times. He worked at Toro Rosso. Then he came back to Racing Bulls, so he's a well-known person for them, and obviously they've made, and Laurent is a good guy,
Good. So are we breaking news here? Can we break news here and say that you are not considering the Red Bull position?
Correct, yeah, you can break them news, yes,
you can break them. So breaking
because
news.
That is not speculation, Matt, that's
right.
Yeah, exactly.
This is an exclusive.
He's too happy with Vankah hours.
I'm too happy with Brian, Matt, and Jenny, so, with the three of them, So why would I go anywhere else,
Even though you'd be perfect. I think we're kind of tiptoeing around the biggest question here, Guenther. What does this mean for Yuki Tsunoda?
Thank you. Took the words out of my
mouth. You stole his question. You stole his questions.
Yeah. Well, it's the question on everybody's minds.
Yes.
It's the elephant in the room. The 800-pound gorilla. What does this mean for Yuki Tsunoda?
What does that mean for Yuki Tsunoda?
It's such a big question. How do you eat the elephant? One bite at a time, Guenther. Try.
Yeah, exactly. Yuki Tsunoda needs to make points. Otherwise, I think, I really think latest end of the year he's out of there. But it could be before that one, as much as you guys love, as we love Yuki, because I love him as well, it's one of these things, but he needs to bring the performance. I think this is saying, we let Christian Horner go, we changed Liam Lawson, so it's one of these things, if he doesn't shape up, he will not be there for a long time anymore.
I have a theory. The real reason they fired Christian is because he hasn't been giving Yuki a car that he can drive, so they had to get him out in order to give that second Red Bull seat an actual drivable car. That's the real reason he's gone.
So you think Yuki did that to get Christian out?
Yuki's the real person who got Christian fired, not Max.
Well, I think it is interesting. I'm wondering what your opinions are when Laurent Mekies comes in. I think from what I've been hearing is that Wache was a Christian guy. Do you think Mekies is going to want to bring in his own technical people? Maybe bring some people over from VCarb who made maybe not as good a car, but a more drivable car with a more stable window. Do you think there might be a reshuffling with the technical people?
No, that would confuse everything too much, Matt. I think Laurent will see what he needs to do and make changes, but just because you don't want to weaken one team to make the other one stronger, because then you need to make both strong in the end. You cannot say, "Oh, I don't really care about Racing Bulls." I want them here. So he needs to, now that he's in charge of Red Bull, he needs to make Red Bull strong, but not by weakening Racing Bulls, which is owned by the same people. That would be quite a counterproductive move for Laurent.
Okay, speaking of Christian's legacy, you mentioned earlier that you got to Jaguar with Lauda, and then Christian arrived a month later. Can you speak to his legacy and how he transformed that Stewart Jaguar team into the behemoth that is now?
No, I think he did a good job. I mean, he was there 20 years and won a lot of championships when he got there. I mean, I remember the team was not what it is now, and he built it up. But I think I always say the one element now missing is Mr. Mateschitz in that team, because as much as Mr. Mateschitz was not seen, he had a big influence, and we can see that pretty clearly, the influence of Mr. Mateschitz, because I would say with him around still, there wouldn't be all this mayhem in the team, because he would keep everybody in line, because he had that first of all, he had that power, which maybe now nobody has got that power, because he owned the majority of the company. He could do not whatever he wanted, but he could do what he found is right. He didn't have to ask anybody. He made a decision. If it was the wrong decision, he made the next one. Now, in big companies, when you have got a board, everybody got an opinion. It's all getting who can lobby better than the other one, and then you make decisions not by clear thinking, but by committee in the end.
I think there's an interesting, aspect of that thing that you just spoke of within the Formula One world, which is kind of teams that are a little bit that are lean in a way, where there's one decision maker and you can kind of like get in there and break things and mess around. Seems like that's what Red Bull used to be with Mateschitz, and since he's left, they're kind of transitioning into being a little bit more of a rule by committee, a little bit more corporate, of that Ferrari, corporate Mercedes kind of vibe. Do you kind of is that like this is the new school, this is the new era that's coming in, whereas the kind of one boss who can make a unilateral decision, that's more of the old school? Is that what's happening here? But then you have like Lawrence Stroll doing that at Aston Martin. Like, do you have a preference as to which is better or what you would like more? It seems like you're more of the like one decision maker kind of guy.
Yeah, I think race teams should run like this. The problem with F1 now, because it's such a big business, it's very difficult to give one person, if he's not the owner, all this power. Because we talk about values of billions of dollars here, Like only a few years ago, it was millions of dollars. Now it's billions of dollars. So obviously everybody tries to get involved, and you need a bigger control machine because because the value is so high. But I really think a race team is. But look at Mercedes, for example. Even if it is a part of a big corporate, it's its own a lone-standing entity. With Toto, obviously Toto has got a stake in it, a big stake in it, in the team, and that helps him to make decisions how he wants them. Obviously, it's no guarantee for success, but, if they don't win, they are always in the top three, I would say, in the last years. I think they were when they didn't win. So I think that is the better concept for a race team than being part of a big corporate and having all that, complexity of aligning people, of decision by committee and things like this.
Okay. Well, we'll see how good that structure is. We'll see what happens. Watch this space. We've got the amazing Silverstone GP review coming up right after this. But Guenther, later in this episode, we discuss whether Max Verstappen is going to Mercedes. Do you have an amendment to what you said?
No.
You think he's staying at Red Bull?
I think he's staying, yeah.
Okay.
And therefore, you have to subscribe.
Subscribe to see his reasoning later. Subscribe and enjoy the rest of the episode, Vankahs.
Hello, Vankahs.
What's up, Vankahs?
Hello, Vankahs.
How's everybody doing? Yes,
he's
back, everybody.
He's back. He's back. And because you know what? He was like, I'll take Austria off. You know what? This shit's going to be boring. I'm going to come back for the one. For the chaos,
and only
of
for the one
Silverstone.
and only, yeah.
He was just as a man who grew up on the Austrian border, he just wanted to enjoy Austria. Just like, let me just enjoy this and not have to do any of this bullshit.
And he was,
now,
yeah, exactly.
That's right. But now we got this crazy race, Guenther. Your boy, Nico Hulkenberg, podium, controversy with your other boy, Oscar Piastri. The highs and lows of the Guenther Steiner fandom was all at play in Silverstone this week. But this is, of course, Vankah Hours brought to you by BetMGM. We're going to be getting into all of that. But first, let's cue the music.
No Fox smash, my God. I'm gonna fucking Steiner and I'm back for more. No Fox smash, my dog. I'm gonna fucking Steiner and it's time
And we're back. Okay, Guenther, I think that we should start off this episode with your rock star and your wanker for Silverstone. Guenther, who was your rock star for the Silverstone GP?
I think it's pretty. I don't even need to say it,
Yeah, say it with your chest, Guenther.
Nico Nico Hulkenberg.
That's right,
Yes.
dude. This is all you, Guenther. You got to take a victory lap for this? This is your podium just as much as it's Nico's.
I don't know about that. I think he did a lot more for it than me, you know.
Guenther, he'd be in WEC right now if it wasn't for you.
Yeah, you had the vision.
Yeah, I don't know. And the nice thing with Nico is, you know, he thanked me for that. You know, it's like he appreciates that because you know, we have got a good relationship. But I can tell you, I think I was as happy as he was for the podium, you know, because the guy, I always believed in him, you know, and I actually believed him. I think there's somebody on my door. Sorry, guys. I didn't put the thing on. Just give me a second.
All good. Yeah.
Keep it in. Keep it in.
Yeah, keep it in.
Subscribe to the podcast, guys. So Guenther can afford his own flat in London where nobody bothers him.
Sorry, guys, I forgot to put the no disturb on.
All good.
Once I don't put it on, they fucking commentate, you know.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. I was as happy as him, but because I actually, in 2016, when we were looking for drivers, he was the top on the list, and I was negotiating with him. And, you know, actually, I was on a call with the lawyers to work on his contract. And then, you know what the bastard did? He called me up and ditched me. And he said, I'm staying at Force India. Bastard, you know?
Yeah.
But we remained always in touch and friends, you know, even, you know, it's like, I always believe you always meet twice at least in life. And then when I was looking for somebody 23, obviously he was a good candidate because he didn't have a full-time seat. And I would say I fucked a little bit with him there, you know, let him hanging a little bit payback time, you know. So, but when he came back into Formula One, when he joined Haas, he was a big help for everyone because in the COVID years we lost a little bit our mojo and we needed somebody like him to bring it back.
Do you think he should break off a piece of that Lego trophy and give you a chunk?
No, I'm all right without it, you know. I'm not into memorabilia, you know. So no, I'm happy for him. He doesn't owe me anything, you know. So we are good,
except for maybe a podcast appearance.
I mean, that's the
right.
least he can do. I mean, yeah.
I
think his manager, his manager Raul. I call him Ralph because which German is called Raul? I mean, it must be Ralph, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if he listens to it, you know, Ralph, yours, Nico.
Was that one of the best comeback drives you've ever seen? I mean, from P19, essentially, I mean, last, because Colapinto didn't even start the race, but from last place to a podium in a stake. Obviously, they've had improvements in that car, but for him to do that on a day like that, they didn't set a foot wrong, both on the driving side and the strategy side, it seems.
No, absolutely. And he did very similar the last race in Austria. I don't know what he started. I think he started 20th there and he went into the points, but not to the podium. But, you know, these circumstances, they help you. I mean, they can make you win or lose. But in the end, all the stars aligned for him as well. We need to be honest about it. You know, you cannot just do it by sheer performance. I mean, everything, as you said, they didn't put a foot wrong. The whole team did a fantastic job. They always came in at the right time, you know, so you know, if you work hard, you get lucky, you know, so, and for sure he worked hard. It was, how many races? 239 or something like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
239,
yeah.
Too many. What makes Nico so great that you saw firsthand that got missed over all these years, so he never got like a great shot at a top team?
I think, I mean, he has got a very good talent. He's very down to earth. He works hard, you know. He's not, you know, we all get emotional at some stage, but he's very unemotional about things, you know. And your question, why did he not get a shot at it? Because he fucked up the team he went to, you know, all the time. You know, I mean, if he cannot make a good decision, is which team to go to. Because normally, where Nico Hulkenberg goes, don't put your money on that team because they will go down. You know, so I mean, look at his career. But it's true. Look at his career. I mean, he had, and I think he missed out on a Ferrari drive Kimi Räikkönen at the time. He was very close to it. He always, I mean, that was not his doing. I mean, somebody decided they wanted Kimi instead of Nico, but otherwise, I would say sometimes he just was always picking the wrong horse.
Seems like he also had times where he could have gotten a podium and maybe gotten his own way, gotten his own head about that. Kind of didn't meet the moment a few times. He had 3 4th-place finishes in his career, and a bunch of times where that was possible. And then this one, Lewis Hamilton, of all drivers to be behind you, chasing you down, the king of Silverstone himself, a man on the grid who has a straight named after him, is like hunting you down. In that moment, did you think that he was finished, or did you think, no, he's going to pull this out?
To be honest, I thought, Lewis will get him, and then a few laps in, you could see that Lewis was not any faster than him, and then it's like, the laps are coming down. He's not going to get him, because even if he has to get close to him, I think Nico would defend pretty hard. But Lewis just didn't have it in him or in the car to get close to him, and Nico was flying. I don't know where that came from, but as you said, I think he was... third once in the Renault, and then he threw the car off a few laps to go,
Yeah.
But he kept it clean. He just did a very good job. But, was I thinking when Lewis overtook, who was behind him? Gasly. I think it was Gasly. Or who was behind
I think it might have been.
Yeah. Yes, when he overtook him, I said, he will now chase Nico down, and again the podium is gone. But then after 2-3 laps, he said, he's not going to get him because he's just as fast as him.
Can you describe the feeling that was going through you when he crossed that check, when he crossed the line and was up on that podium?
I was just happy. Yeah, I was just happy for him. It's one of these moments you say, the guy, and I said it a lot of times, nobody deserves anything. Not in Formula One. I think you can say, did he deserve it? Yes, but why would I change my tone now when I say nobody? You have to work hard for it, and because he deserves it, because he worked hard for it, for and a long time. I mean, 239 races, it's a long time, and he had 3 years of a reserve driver in that time as well. So 15 years to keep on trying. It's you need to be determined.
Got to respect the journey. Now there was this. I don't know if you heard that Stake didn't have any champagne for the post-race celebration.
Yeah, cheap
and
bastard,
so that Mercedes and Aston Martin had to lend them their champagne. I guess, Guenther, did you guys have champagne ready to go, or would you have been in this exact same scenario had Kevin Magnussen gotten a podium at one point?
We had champagne, but it wasn't there for the podium. It was there because it was one of the sponsors.
Okay.
So it was. Otherwise, if we wouldn't have had it as a sponsor, I guess we wouldn't have had any. But I think Aston Martin was pretty happy to give them the champagne because it was getting the sell-by date was going.
I was like, what does Aston Martin have the champampagn for? That's
exactly.
Pretty,
no,
ambitious.
They said, "Hey, give him the champagne. The sell-by date is in a few months."
That's gonna expire in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
now,
exactly. Yeah.
But it seemed there for a second like maybe Stroll was gonna get that podium. Stroll was right in there because he was chasing down Stroll.
Lewis was chasing down Stroll. That's right. Yeah, but. Fair play. He did a good job as well.
I want to drill down on Stroll for a second because he had that optimal strategy. He was on that soft that nobody else had. What do you? I know we're tight with Pirelli. We love Pirelli, but what do we feel? How do we feel about the guys who get knocked out in Q1 have just these extra tires that they can play with? And Alonso was pissed off that Stroll had a better strategy with him, but. Hey, Alonso was an idiot and qualified in Q3 and didn't have all those extra tires to play with.
I mean, at least it should make it a little bit more even in the race, but that is one of the things. I mean, you cannot take him the tires away. You don't make it into to Q2 or Q3. You end up with more tires, and if you're good enough in the race to move forward, that's an advantage. But I don't think that's unfair. That's just part of the game. It's part of the rules. Can happen.
And that's not is that a Pirelli decision or is that
no?
That's
it's not
a Pirelli decision. That's an FIA decision.
Yeah, It's to It's to save on freights, right?
Yeah,
So
everybody gets the same amount of tires, and everybody can do not what you want with it. I mean, in free practice, you have to give the tires back which you have used, so everybody ends up with the same. But the only way to fix this is that the people which get out in Q1 need to give the tires back. But I don't think that is fair, So,
right.
But in some instances, you get rewarded for. They even talked about in the F1 movie. They were like, "Wait a minute, because we did worse, we get rewarded," and they were like, "Yes." I was like, "That's weird."
It's called balance of performance, a little bit. It helped the slow people.
It's one of the only ways. It's one of the only ways that F1 is, egalitarian.
Socialist.
It's socialist. It's a socialist way.
And with the wind tunnel time,
and cost cap,
right?
No, cost cap is all the same for everyone.
No, right, but that's wind socialist too.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say that's socialist, but the wind tunnel time. If you're last, you have more wind tunnel times than who is first.
It's not. Wait, Guenther. It's not socialist to say that the rich and the poor can have a limit on how much money they can spend. It helps. It helps the poor guys. It helps Haas.
Why does it help? Because I think it restricts the other ones, but the rich ones still can get the expensive drivers. You still, it's like it just. I don't think solution. It's no.
It's not.
It's not really socialistic. Yeah, that's maybe the right word.
Yeah.
Solution. It is like a level playing field, so nobody can run away with whatever he wants to do,
Level playing field? Okay. I mean, that sounds. Isn't that what socialism is all about?
We're not. Hey, babe. Shut up. We're not getting into. We're not getting into. Fucking political ideology here. We're talking about stupid wheels on stupid cars going around stupid racetracks. Okay, wait, Guenther. Vankahs, this episode is brought to you by BetMGM. Come see what's new at BetMGM. Score bigger when you win with boost tokens, odd boost tokens, and more. Even if your bet doesn't hit, we've got you covered with no sweat tokens. Sign up with BetMGM today and you'll have access to countless betting options, including new look, same game parlays, teasers, live bets, and so much more. Take advantage of these offerings and be sure to use the bonus code DADDY when signing up to receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. This is an exciting season. Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, who's going to finish? Who's going to win each race? Where's Yuki Tsunoda going to wind up? You can bet on all this with BetMGM, so do it today. Use the bonus code DADDY when signing up, and again, receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. See you out there, Vegas.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 and over only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
That was your rock star. I'm gonna pose a question to you, Guenther. For Wanker of the Week, I'm gonna give you two options. Is it the FIA for giving a bogus penalty to Oscar Piastri, or is it Oscar Piastri for doing something stupid under the safety car and jeopardizing his race? Who is your Wanker between those two?
The first one. And,
yes! Yes!
And I think they got so many wankers of the week, I think they've got a collection there now, the FIA.
A menagerie.
Yeah. I mean, they win a lot. Not the rock stars, obviously. I don't think they never get they ever got the rock star. Huh?
Not yet.
Not yet. But yeah, it's still far away. But anyway, no, what I think is like, what I saw also, because obviously I don't have access to the real data, so I just saw data on the internet that Oscar didn't do a lot of different than his first time the safety car came out. His braking was similar. I think the difference was this time Max, or the second time, Max was a lot faster, so it looked very dramatic. It looked very dramatic, to be honest. But, and I think the stewards should not decide on drama. They should decide on facts. And for me, it was like, everything worked against Oscar. And could he have done it a little bit smoother? Yes, but was it erratic driving? In my opinion, not. I mean, he was slowing down to get himself in a position to get the best start. And that's what the race car driver is doing and has to do, because that's what he's there for to do. He's not there to be the nice guy to the guy which is behind him. And so, in my opinion, and then I think if they didn't like what they saw the first time around, they should have given a warning to Oscar, said, dude, do not do this again. This is you on the edge or you're already over, but do not do this again. And then the second time he's doing it, he gets 10 seconds, the same penalty like somebody gets taking somebody else on purpose. It's a little bit, I don't know. For me, it was not the right thing. But I'm known that it seems like I have always a go at the stewards. I actually do. So,
do you think it deserved 5 seconds, or do you think there shouldn't have been any penalty at all?
My opinion should be, if they didn't like it, they should have spotted that the first time around, give him a warning saying, do not do this again. And if he did it again, 5 or 10 seconds, I could live with both of them. But out of the blue, just a 10-second, I think it's wrong. I think even the second time they should have told him, it's enough now. If it happens again, do not do this again. A warning, black, white or something like this. This is the last time you do it.
So it seems like, once again, your gripe is with the way in which it was handled, because there was a lot of talk about, in the cool down room, Oscar was telling Nico like what, his story about how he was aggrieved by this thing. And then Nico said, well, I had to take evading action when you did that. If I watched back the onboard, that was on lap 17 where he wasn't even penalized. So he had been doing that same behavior before. And so in his mind, I've done it again, I've not even gotten a single warning. And then I'm hit with this big, in basketball, if you're checking someone or if you're doing something, a ref will say to you, if you keep doing that, I'm going to start calling that a foul. But it doesn't seem like that happens in F1.
No, it didn't happen, and it was very weird again. It came very unexpected for me at 10 seconds, because at 10 seconds is basically destroying your race. He was lucky that the McLaren was good and he still finished second, And but it's I keep on saying it's the inconsistency of everything which is just happening. You never know what you get. There is not like a real. This is what will happen. No, you don't know. It's like it could be anything. Could be 5, 10, nothing, whatever goes.
What's the solution here? What's the way forward here?
Matt as a permanent steward. How about that?
I mean, at least that would be consistent.
Yeah,
Oscar would never get a penalty. Yuki Tsunoda would never get a penalty.
Yeah.
It would be consistent. You'd know, oh, God, Yuki took out the whole field and nothing's going to happen. You'd know what was happening.
But he would be still last. But anyway,
Do you think, here's a question I have, Guenther, is like there's, George Russell the week before did something somewhat similar, didn't get a penalty. The argument against Oscar was that because it was in the wet, that it was ultimately kind of dangerous because of the low visibility. You don't subscribe to that?
No, I don't subscribe, because in the end, it's always to find an explanation why they did it. It's not that clear. F1 should not speak about penalties and stewards, in my opinion. That's what is wrong. How many times in football or in any other sport you talk about the referee? Normally, if you talk once about the referee, you will not see that person again, because he has done something wrong. But, for me, the solution, without joking now, is, and I'm preaching it since 10 years, permanent stewards. Because then it's a job, it's not volunteering. You need to be responsible for what you're doing, because if you do a bad job, guess what? You haven't got a job anymore, because the next one comes in, And if they are permanent, it would be, I hope, more consistent. And if there is something they do not get in the time in between races while they are not at the racetrack, they can work on the regulations and make them better. Obviously, putting the effort in to fix them, how they see, which helps them. Because If you've got different people all the time, people go home on Monday. Obviously, it's not their job to do this. They are not paid for it, or they are paid very little, And when they go back home, they have to go to do their day job. They cannot spend the time to think about, speak with people, what would be the best way to address this going forward if you were put in a position where you didn't know what to decide.
Guenther, I know you don't agree with this decision, and I agree with you not agreeing with this decision. I think it's very smart of you. We agree. But here's another question. Have you ever agreed with a steward's decision? Because it seems like you never have.
Very rarely, I must admit, very rarely I agree with them. But sometimes I agree with them, Sometimes I would say I agree with them. But for me, the biggest thing is always when it's inconsistent and the precedent doesn't count, or it counts when they want it to count, not. But it needs to, for me, the biggest example is a legal system. It needs to be consistent. I mean, if you do something, the guy which does it next time the same doesn't get away better or worse. He should get the same as the other guy got, or the other person.
Do you think that Max maybe sold that a little bit? That, if Oscar had been doing this a couple times, on lap 17, Max almost overtook Oscar because Oscar was doing his speed-up thing. Do you think Max maybe kind of sold that a little bit of a flop? Oh my God, I had to overtake him. This guy's driving erratically. This guy's driving crazy. You think he kind of was able to get that foul called?
Yes, but again, the stewards should be good enough to say this guy is bullshitting us. You realize that. We all realized it. I mean, but the drivers always do this, If they, did you see what he pushed me off? He pushed me off. Report to the stewards, But in my opinion, the stewards don't have to react what the guy said. They have to react to the facts which what happened on the racetrack, not what one of the parties involved in it. I mean, again, I go back to the legal system. Oh, he hit me first. Yeah, look at the video. I think you hit him first. It's like, wait a moment. What you say doesn't count. Look at the facts and then make the decision based on the fact and not on who said what.
Well, the facts they gave was that he slowed down 100 miles per hour, that he slowed down over 100 kph, that he went from, down to 50 kph, and that the tires went to a 60 psi. I don't know what that means, but people are talking about how they know what that means. Does that not factor in for you at all? Like, I know that you don't like the consistency of the stewards, but I guess just off of what you saw, did you feel like he was kind of playing with fire with the way he was behaving behind the safety car?
No, because I don't think it was as erratic as it was. It's an F1 car. These cars, they can handle this stuff. All the other ones need to be aware what is happening. They know the race leader makes the speed. So you need to react to him. I think for me, erratic driving is more when you go left to right and do something like this. Obviously, they are all race car drivers. As Max did what I would be doing as a race car driver, complain about the other guy, but so does Oscar, trying to get himself in the best position to have a good restart. It's part of the game. And erratic driving, if it is not defined, it's again out there for everybody.
Right.
What is erratic? And if that erratic is not good enough, they need to tell you cannot slow down more than a percentage of the speed you're having. Obviously, then the driver needs to make a calculation how much the percentage is or something like this. But anyway, that already would define then what is legal and what not. But erratic, what obviously for Oscar, it wasn't erratic. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it. He knows the rules, He doesn't do it on purpose, erratic driving.
But 60 PSI, Guenther. But 60. I said 60 PSI.
People are mad. People are mad in our comments about this thing.
So what happened? I don't know the 60 PSI. What happened?
That his brakes went up to 60
amount of pressure.
The pressure in the brakes went up to 60 PSI, and so people are now claiming to be tire pressure experts and saying that that's the reason, that's proof that he was driving in like almost race type of conditions, and which is shouldn't be allowed.
If it is brake pressure, you need to see also the throttle, because you can left foot brake, obviously putting pressure on.
Sorry, tire pressure. It was tire pressure.
Tire pressure. Okay.
Well, why would tire pressure matter in that instance, Brian?
Or what is it? Brake?
How much? Yeah, I don't know.
It's how much pressure he puts on the brake, probably.
Is that
yeah,
what
it could be that it is that he was braking hard, but if you stay on the throttle as well, I mean, you need to see both pedals, because sometimes you put brake pressure on to heat the brake up, so you get heat into the tire, but you stay on throttle.
You got to see both pedals. That's what I've been
you need to see
saying.
everything, yeah.
You got to see both pedals. Also, Aldous on YouTube was pointing out that, of course, you have to apply more brake pedal pressure when it's raining. Like, the brakes don't work as well in the rain. It's just all these nerds in the comments.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no,
that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Matt's
Matt's just listening to the nerds that also don't know what they're talking about, that confirms his theory. So it's a bunch of people on the internet who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's what's happening here.
Yeah. Except Guenther in this instance, because I agree with him.
As he's the closest we have to someone who knows what they're talking about. Okay, wait, Guenther. There was so whatever, the penalty happens, right?
Yeah.
Now there's
exactly, penalty happens.
Well, whatever. We can discuss whether it was justified or not. Whatever. Max spins out. Then it's Lando. Like within the 10-second range, it seems like it's going to be then Lando the victory for him. Now there's a conversation around if Lando wasn't the guy in second place, would McLaren have been fighting this a lot harder? Would they have been fighting the FIA, fighting the stewards, and trying to get this penalty reversed? But because it was Lando, it's like, oh, well, it's a 1-2 for McLaren. Why are we even going to fight this in the first place? Do you have an opinion on kind of McLaren's maybe lack of really going to the mat to get the penalty reversed?
I actually agree there with McLaren. Even if it would have appealed, they would not have got it their way. That was, the stewards could not go back on this one. Because they would make them look themselves pretty. I cannot say the word because otherwise my pass doesn't work next time. But anyway, no, they had no chance to win. If they appealed this one, they had no chance to win it. And I think they did the right thing. In the end, as you said, it worked out for 1-2 for them. So the damage wasn't big. But even going there, spending money and time, resources, energy in appealing something, 99.999999 you lose. It's no point if you are first and second anyway. You try to speak with Oscar and say, hey, dude, you didn't get lucky today. You took a chance and you lost.
A lot of ink was spilled over Oscar's reaction on the radio, wanting them to switch places, seeming a bit more emotive than usual. Do you think that this is how does this impress upon you? Do you think this is a sign that maybe he's cracking? You think this is completely understandable? Do you think how I maybe think that this is how a champion behaves when they're aggrieved? They go full Michael Jordan, angry at the world. How do you feel about this?
I think he was genuinely angry about it for the right reason, and I think when after the race he thought about what he said, it was like, what chance did I have that they really let me pass? None. It's like, dude, you got a penalty. Why should the other one now? It's nothing to do with Lando. He hasn't done anything wrong, the guy.
Right.
You were told you did wrong, get a penalty. But I think if you would speak now with Oscar, he would say, yeah, that was quite a long shot to call to change position, But he tried. What is the worst he can get? A no. If he doesn't try, he would never know. He at least got the no, and now he has got something in the back if there should be happening something like this to him. You always have to collect stuff as well for the future.
I know, he's just got such a reputation of being an Iceman, of being so composed, and a lot of people are saying, he's losing his composure. He's asking for this stupid thing that's impossible.
Yeah, and I think he lost a little bit of composure because he was so upset about it, Yeah. But, it's more like he lose at that moment. But then I think after the race, he was pretty good. At the interviews, he made it easy for him. He said, I don't want to answer that question because I get into trouble, which obviously he would, So, he kept himself to himself, and the good thing which came out, it made it very interesting now again for the championship because they're so close.
All right, let's discuss the championship. We didn't do an episode last week for Austria. Lando Norris, my guy, won the race. Now he won this one. Now you could say it's BS, but he was in the right place, right time. Sometimes that's what you need. You need a little bit of that on your side. You were gung-ho that Oscar's going to walk away with this thing. How do you feel about Lando Norris's chances at overtaking Oscar Piastri to win the championship this year? Guenther, let's hear it!
I think Lando did a very good job in Austria, did a good job there, obviously with the help of Oscar. For me, the favorite is still Oscar, but I think Lando got a lot of confidence back in the last 2 races for himself, and that will help him. So in the moment, Oscar cannot allow himself to make mistakes anymore, because Lando now is there waiting for Oscar to make mistakes. So it's not over. My favorite is still Oscar, but it's you never know. So, but obviously behind them there is nobody anymore which can challenge them. That's the reality of it.
What did you think of Red Bull came in with like an aggressive Saturday strategy that proved to be, a downfall for them on a Sunday. Did you like that strategy? Did you feel like it was ultimately foolish? Where did you sit on the low downforce rear wing of that Red Bull gave a shot?
I think they saw that as their only opportunity to get to have a go at the race win. They knew the risk is that it starts to rain and they cannot work with that. But in the end, they didn't have a lot to lose, and we all know how Max is. Even if it rains, he can pull one off. But I think for Max now, is just getting too much on the line. He has to take too much risk to win a race, and we could see it there. It's just like, even him, because as good as he is, at some stage he needs a car which helps him to do it. He cannot do it all himself.
And what did you think of Ferrari this past week? Because Ferrari, in the pre-practices, they were looking real quick. In the dry conditions, they were looking like maybe they were going to be able to be at the top, but then come Saturday, they both kind of have mess ups. They're not on pole, they're not in the top 3, and then Sunday in the rain, they were a mess. It seemed like maybe Ferrari was going to turn a corner a little bit in Silverstone, but they're right back where they were in the beginning. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have to remind you, from FP1 to FP3, you don't achieve anything. You just make laps and get data,
Guenther, then why every time I've seen you in the paddock, you watch FP1, FP2, and FP3 very carefully? If it doesn't matter,
I don't
you
know
watch
why I
it.
do it.
You watch it like you're at church. It's very quiet. You sit there and you whisper. You and Mario in the Pirelli paddock, you just hushed tones and watching FP2 with reverence. If it doesn't matter, why are you watching it so seriously?
Because there's nothing else to watch. If I watch it seriously, it doesn't mean that I enjoy it, I enjoy a sprint weekend a lot more. I tell you that much,
Okay.
a lot more
Okay.
than. But back to Ferrari, it's like they look stronger, and I think in Silverstone they didn't do themselves any favor during the race with Leclerc. It was a messy race, and you could mess it up, and they did. But they're again second in the championship. We don't have to forget that one,
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Mercedes was nowhere. Again.
Exactly.
They put
Nico Hulkenberg finished 3rd in a Sauber, so
yeah.
With a Ferrari engine, so maybe that engine ain't so bad. Not too
Exactly.
bad.
It seems like nobody wants second place.
Yeah, because
Nobody
it's the first
wants it.
loser. Because it's the first loser, that. So,
that's
but
right.
I would have been very happy with the second place. But anyway, I never got it, So, that's
Of
me.
course.
I'm a very, what do you call it? I'm happy with very little, So
Beggars can't be choosers.
correct, yeah.
There we go. All right. Vankahs, this episode is brought to you by Long Drink. Long Drink is a refreshing citrus soda with a premium liquor kick. Unlike the seltzers made with fermented sugar, it is a true award-winning liquor that is smooth, refreshing, and doesn't leave you with that full beer feeling the last sip. It's as good as the first. Long Drink is a citrus soda made with real liquor. It's not like these other, you know what I'm talking about. Everyone's drinking them, but then you still get that full beer feeling? Not with Long Drink. Long Drink, it's gluten-free, all natural, super refreshing. And get this, Miles Teller, Kygo, and Ricky Fowler are investors. Miles Teller, you mean Rooster? Rooster! You gotta drink it. I've literally been having Long Drink nonstop. It's become my new favorite drink, especially on a nice summer day. We're entering summer and you need your Long Drink. So you can pick up some Long Drink today at a store near you. Happy drinking, Vankahs. Let's go on to our favorite segment, Gas or Break.
Nico will get another podium before retiring.
Fuck. That's so difficult. I don't know when he retires to start off with, but whoa. I mean, if he takes another 239 races, it's about 10 years. I was too old for that one then, you know. He's in an Audi next year. Break. As much as I wish and I would be happy for him, I think that's it. It's just like Audi next year. I mean, complete new engine. They never did an F1 engine. I think it's just so difficult to do to get a podium, you know. So, no. Break.
I'm going full gas. I think that this guy they hired from Red Bull, whose name is freaking escaping me, gray-haired guy, Jonathan Wheatley. I think this guy, Jonathan Wheatley, is clearly. So Jonathan Wheatley, Guenther, do you know who Helen Keller is?
No.
You don't know Helen Keller. You don't know who Helen Keller is. So in America, she's famous. She was deaf and blind.
Oh, yeah. A flying aeroplane. Yeah.
She never flew an aeroplane.
Who was that?
Amelia Earhart.
That's Amelia Earhart.
Yeah.
Amelia Earhart could see that the special thing was that she was a woman. Helen Keller was deaf and blind, and everybody wrote her off. But there was a teacher, I forgot her name, that taught Helen Keller how to, and she was mute. Well, she wasn't mute because they taught her how to sign and speak. And this woman, it's like, how do you teach a deaf and blind person how to speak and sign? It was impossible. But this woman did. And they called her the miracle worker. And they made a movie about her. Now, I think Jonathan Wheatley is the miracle worker of F1, teaching this deaf and blind team how to do pit stops, do strategy, make upgrades. It is a Helen Keller type reversal. Would you call Jonathan Wheatley a miracle worker? I think he's a miracle worker.
No, John.
And I think what he's done in a couple of races is astounding. I thought Williams couldn't be caught in fifth. I think Sauber's going to catch him. I think this is just the beginning. I think he's got with the Audi. He's got a chance at the WDC.
I think Jonathan for president.
Yes.
All right, I can call him up now. Jonathan, Matt wants you for president because you are the miracle. You will sort the world's problems in.
Guenther, do we not remember where Stake was at the beginning of the year? And last year they were an embarrassment. Now they're getting podiums. It's crazy.
Yeah, but Jonathan is a good guy. I mean, he was at Red Bull a long time, but he cannot come in 2 or 3 races, fix every problem. I mean, you know.
He just did.
I mean, maybe if you tell Jonathan, he believes it. I mean, you know. We can see what Jonathan thinks about it, you know. So.
Or what about your boy? What about your boy Binotto?
Yeah. I think he was there and they did some fixes. But again, I think that for me, he doesn't get a second podium because, I mean, there was an opportunity, all the stars aligned and they did it, they did it. It was not just luck. They did a very good job. They didn't make any mistakes, but, without the rain, without, things happen like this. But it's not like that now, the Sauber, you will see him on the podium every weekend, famous
Let's remember that Alpine got a double podium last year. And look where they
second
are now.
And third. Yeah, exactly. Look where they are now. I mean, and for sure, Matt said, who was the boss last year when they did that one? Flavio Flavio did
Matt
magic.
rides high with the wave. Matt's just on the journey. He's on the roller coaster of all these.
Brian, what do you think?
Team.
What do you think? Gas or brake?
About Nico getting a podium?
Yeah.
I think gas, baby.
Yes.
I think that Audi coming in, this is promising, and with between Binotto and Jonathan Wheatley, I think that the possibility
and Nico,
exactly,
because he's get the podium. Yeah.
Well, he's a given. I feel like Nico's kind of a given now, but with Jonathan Wheatley, Binotto, and the money, as you said, Volkswagen Group, second biggest car manufacturer in the world. I think it'd give them a little bit of time. Nico Hulkenberg will be on that podium again, and hopefully. Hopefully he can act like hopefully he can know what's going on. He'll know where to put his helmet. He'll know how to spray the champagne. He was looking like a little bit like
lost,
a kid in a tuxedo for the first time.
But we need to find out if Sauber now carries their own champagne.
Yes,
I think they bet.
Maybe they don't want to jinx
it.
They didn't want to jinx it.
That's right. All right, next prompt.
Carlos Sainz regrets choosing Williams over Sauber/Audi.
Gas. But not only because of the performance, also because he was driving at Ferrari when Mattia was there, and I think he, in general, he is not having a good experience in the moment at Williams. I mean, he's struggling along, and Carlos is a very good driver. So they had a very good beginning of the year, but mainly with Albon and not with Carlos. Carlos never had any really good result, So obviously a little bit frustration will have set in. And thinking back, I said, I should have gone with Audi, But hey, he made the decision. You live by your choices, huh?
I'm going full gas. I think he bought into the, James Vallis sold him a bill of goods. He underestimated Alex Albon.
Are you saying that James Vallis talks a lot? Are you just saying that? He's a very quiet man.
Yes. I think that he talks a big game. He's very convincing. Whereas Jonathan Wheatley just got down to business, and I think Carlos Sainz is looking over and he's like, God damn it, I could be in Sauber right now. Jonathan Wheatley, it's about to become Audi. And almost as importantly, I could have had Gabriel Bortoleto as a fucking teammate. How nice would that be?
Yeah, they
crashing on
Spanish.
slicks.
I know.
Yes.
Bortoleto is Brazilian, so he speaks Portuguese. Yeah, sorry.
No, but I mean, I wouldn't have to worry about Bortoleto, who can't even stay on track half the time with this. They put him on slicks. I thought that was as smart as Jonathan Wheatley is, I thought that was dumb, putting a rookie on slicks in the wet. But, yeah. So I think full gas.
I am feathering the gas as well. I'm not going full gas. I think that Sauber's would look good. They come in hot, but we've seen Williams came in. They were looking hot. I'm a little bit hesitant now of like, a team comes in, it has this positive, few races, and now we're crowning them something. But I think it'll be interesting. I think that there's American money coming into Williams in the future years. There's going to be the German money coming in to Audi.
There's Qatari money coming to Audi.
There's Qatari money coming out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Well, that changes things. Audi's gonna have it.
So you're saying Carlos should be at Audi?
No. Well, I think I'm feathering the gas also because of the teammate thing, like Matt said, but I'm still not fully off the. You know what? I feel like I got burned with the James Vallis hate, and now I'm not. I'm still. I'm in between. I'm not sure what to believe anymore. I'm not sure what to believe.
I'm off the James Vallis. I've never been on the James Vallis train. Where do you think they're finishing? I think Sauber's going to get them. How far do you think Williams is going to drop in the standings, Guenther? They're fifth. They look safely fifth, but not anymore.
No, but the car is still okay. I mean, they had a few races where they messed up the race completely, So, and obviously they need to bring Carlos into the game, that he scores points. I mean, I don't know. He hasn't scored a lot of points this year. So, if they bring him in, the car is not bad. But, in the midfield, a lot of things can happen this year because you just need to have a race like Sauber had in Silverstone. And Austria and Silverstone, and you from last you're up to sixth, and it can happen to any of them in the moment. So very difficult to predict.
Good dodge.
Vankah's summer is here, which means more sun, more light, and more time to do the things that make summer so special. And the number one thing you don't want to be doing this summer is spending hours inside cooking. And that's where Factor comes into play. Factor is chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals that are ready in just 2 minutes, taking the hassle out of eating well. Factor meals arrive fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle and beyond. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your summer gains and goals. We've worked hard for these summer bods, and Factor's going to not only help you keep them, but are going to make them even better, healthier, and looking that much sweeter, baby. And Factor has everything covered: breakfast, lunch, dinner, guilt-free snacks and desserts. It's got it all. So enjoy more this summer. Get Factor if you want all the flavor and none of the fuss. I've used Factor. I've eaten many Factor meals. I was getting Factor before they sponsored the pod, and I loved them then, and I love them even more now because they're supporters of Vankah Hours. And you can get started at factormeals.com/Vankah50off and use code Vankah50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. This is the best deal that you can ever get here. That's the code Vankah50off at factormeals.com/Vankah50off for 50% off plus free shipping, baby. This is free food. Free food that's delicious, tastes great, and you're going to want even more of it. Once again, factormeals.com/Vankah50off. We'll see you later. Last prompt.
Max will replace George at Mercedes in 2026.
Break. Max will not go anywhere. Next year. I didn't say forever.
You're not buying this? There's a lot of... you're not buying any of it?
No, not really. Because, I mean, also, how could they replace George with Max and leave Kimi Antonelli there if Mercedes wants to win a world championship? Kimi did one good race in Canada. The rest, how many good races did he have? Not many, exactly. So you take George out, which is doing a good job, like him or not, he's doing a good job. He won a race. So he's obviously a good leader there. You take him out to put Max in, so it's like, okay. So how I think they would need to take Kimi out to put Max in. I would understand that one in the moment. Say, hey, Kimi, let's do a year at, Alpine or something, Williams, wherever, build it up because he's a good driver, but he needs to make the experience. And being thrown in at that age in a car which actually could win races and you don't win, it is not good for your build up, So I think that's difficult. And I think Max, if he goes to Mercedes next year, how does he know that the Mercedes next year will be good? The only one knowing what is good next year is Matt, because he's the expert here, So, but
then Guenther, what are these news stories? What is this? Why is Toto entertaining this? At a certain point, does this not screw things up at home if you keep talking to,
Yeah.
I don't know the politics.
Why hasn't George signed a contract?
Right.
Because I think they want to give George a 1-year contract to have the possibility of having Max in 27. And George obviously says, I don't want a 1-year contract. I want 3 years, or something like this. Or George is playing about money and Toto just wants to put the heat onto him, I don't know the inside, but there could be a lot of things why this is played out like this, But I think the biggest thing is because I would think Max says in 26 I stay with Red Bull, see where everybody ends up, performance-wise, and then maybe I make a change for 27 because I think he can do that as well, like every year with the performance of the car. But obviously Mercedes needs to have a place in 27 for him. And obviously Toto is putting his money on Kimi that in 27 he will be good, because he had 2 years in Formula One. And I guess the offer for George is 1-year contract, and George is saying, no, I want 3 years.
So if it's negotiation play and Max is going to wait till 26, what if McLaren's that car? Because what if McLaren stays on top? Because Zach Brown said with his full chest that he would not want Max Verstappen. He was on a radio program. He said, no. I like my guys. My guys are my guys. I'm sticking with them. What if in 26 that's the situation? Do you believe that if Max Verstappen at the end of next year called up Zach Brown and said, "I'll do whatever it takes. Like let me come to McLaren," that he really wouldn't take that call? Wouldn't do that?
I would believe that Zach will not do it because obviously, his drivers make good money, but they are still a lot cheaper than Max Verstappen. And Max Verstappen comes also. These two drivers are doing a good are very good in the team, working very hard, having good results. So why change a winning team? It's like, yeah, you bring Max in, but if you have got the best car anyway, and you have got two good drivers, why would you change it? I believe genuinely that he feels like I don't need Max Verstappen. I'm pretty happy where I am with my drivers.
Okay, but that opens up a bigger question, which is if Mercedes has a rocket ship next year, let's say they have the car that they had in 2014, right? Do they need Max?
No.
The car is that much better. They don't need Max. George could probably win the championship easily.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is the risk Max is taking, So, but I don't know if Toto wants him at all costs, because even if in 26 they are good, it doesn't mean that in 27 the other ones don't get better and get closer to Mercedes. And
right.
Obviously McLaren has got the same power unit as Mercedes, so they could be fast. And Mercedes needs the best driver, which is around to make it happen. Because look at Red Bull without Max Verstappen, where would they be? They actually would be last in the championship, So.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know what Yuki would do with the number one driver status. We just don't know. There's just no way of telling.
No, we know.
That's right. All right, Matt, gas or brake? Max.
I'm going gas.
George.
I'm going gas. Everybody's leaving Red Bull like a sinking ship, like rats leaving a sinking ship. Max is fed up with the Michigas. He needs to make a change. There's all these rumors. As I think it was Martin Brundle that said, "There's no smoke without fire." I think he wants to get out of there.
So where is George going if he gets if Max gets in there?
It's going to go to Red Bull, and then him and Christian are going to be shooting skeet in Oxfordshire, or wherever the hell they go in England to shoot skeet.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm going gas as well. I at this point I want to see it. At this point I'm annoyed. At this point I'm annoyed if it doesn't happen, because it was last year. It's like when someone keeps threatening to. It's like a friend who's always like, "Oh, yeah, but I hate my relationship. They don't listen to me, blah, blah, blah." And then it's just like, well, then just fucking break up with them already. Last year we had to go through all this months of Toto talking to Max, Toto talking to Max, Toto talking to Max. Then it doesn't happen. Now it's happening again. Just shit or get off the pot.
Shit or get off the pot. That's what I was thinking.
Choose a driver so we can stop talking about this. And at this point, I want Toto to get Max. I want him to get what he wants and see how it actually goes down, and see if he and Yas can really get along, or whether that thing blows up. And I really want to see George Russell and Christian Horner in lockstep, because I think they're a match made in heaven.
Very good.
That's what I think. Okay.
We convinced him.
We convinced him.
No. It's all bullshit, and you listen to it, That's the problem. You two listen to all the bullshit.
So you haven't believed any of this stuff?
No.
You haven't believed any of it?
No.
Then I guess, but then what's happening, Guenther? Why is it happening? Why are we
because of
fed?
people like you two, which listen to this shit,
Yeah, but
if
Guenther,
nobody listens, they stop
like
doing
us.
it.
It's big time journalists. There was a picture of Max Verstappen in Silverstone with 85 different microphones shoved into his gullet. Because
because it's a good story. You get a lot of people like you listening to it, so the journalists go there. The journalist is just a messenger. He's not the culprit. He has nothing to do with it. The journalist is doing his job, getting a message and giving it to you guys, And
who's giving him the message? Who are the sources? People inside the camps, no?
Yeah, to steer shit up, obviously, So
I see. So it could be Toto Wolff just trying to put pressure on George, just on the dotted line.
And annoying Christian. You know how much he likes to do that, so.
Right.
Or how much they like to annoy each other, by the way,
Guenther, Guenther, I have a question. Have you ever planted a story?
No. I think that I don't like to do that, because then again, it's coming out like this, and if you plant a story and they find out, you look pretty stupid normally, you know that, if you plant a story, it doesn't happen. It's like, wow, why did I do this? You need to be really having a proper agenda and a proper plan. If you plant the story that is going to happen, that you have got an upside of it. Otherwise, you just look an idiot, and there's no upsides for anybody then. And I don't need any help to make myself look an idiot, by the way. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but nobody
don't
remembers
believe what you see on TV.
It's just we all have goldfish.
It's just noise.
It's just goldfish. It's just noise. Okay. Well, we got a couple weeks off. Spa is the next race. Guenther, who do you think is going to be winning in Spa? What's your podium?
I think Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, and then Charles.
Ooh.
Matt?
I think Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen.
I think Lando Norris.
Yeah, quite a good choice.
Lando Norris continues. I think Max Verstappen second, Oscar Piastri third.
All right,
let's see.
Hey, like damn
Let's
apples.
see.
How you like damn apples?
Guenther,
All right.
can you tell these people to subscribe?
Yeah.
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Por
You need-
favor.
That's Spanish, by the way. But anyway, it's the same for you. It's foreign,
Yeah.
for you,
Yeah,
so
it's all foreign.
It's all
other
foreign.
people.
Yeah.
Yes.
People, subscribe to Wanker Hours. Otherwise,
right.
Mark gets upset, and when he
Yes.
gets you,
That's right. Something
And
be good. Okay.
Brian needs to subscribe to a proper internet provider in Italy. You guys
That's
need
right.
to subscribe to Wanker Hours, and Brian to
I will do that. I will do that. We love you, Vankahs. We got a couple weeks off. We'll see you after Spa. Goodbye, Vankahs.
Goodbye, Vankahs.
Goodbye, Wankers.